Are you ready to embark on a transformative journey? Hi, I am Sharon Kumara, host of Awakened Soul. By tuning into Awakened Soul Radio, you will be inspired to shed the illusions that bind you, connect more deeply with your inner wisdom, and step into a liberating life of freedom, clarity, and purpose. Each episode, I share stories and lessons learned that help cultivate greater compassion, patience, and understanding, qualities to embody in everyday life. I invite you to join in as we expand our awareness, exploring diverse topics, and gain access to practical tools, guided exercises, and expert advice to help overcome fears and break the chains that bind us. Join us on Awakened Soul. Your journey to freedom and true self begins here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Awakened Soul Radio and Awakened Soul Podcast on YouTube. And wherever you're listening or watching, thank you for being here. Today, I am super excited to speak with Cindy Edison. Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Sharon. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Thank you for asking us.
Yes, of course. Thank you for being here. And I'm really super excited to talk to you because you are a fellow channel. And I love talking to channels because
Me too.
I am as well. And when I come across someone who has the experience of channeling higher beings, higher collective, whatever it is that we're channeling, it just sings to my heart because I'm like, yes, we are waking up to all of this. Our higher parts of us are helping us remember who we are. And you channel Josef.
Yes.
And you've written many books about your channeling journey, your teachings with Josef.
Yeah.
Four. Okay.
Back to back, 4.
Good for you. Yeah, totally. I can't wait to hear about your journey thus far with Josef and remembering. I imagine it's a remembering, correct?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well,
So
the way I want to touch on that for a second. The way we describe that, the remembering, is that we create, every teacher creates their next message in its non-physical form first before we get here. So when what we refer to as awaken, we wake up and we say, oh, what happened? What just happened? However it happens for you, however it happens, it's so unique, right? That the information is already held by the soul. And it is the human aspect's role to catch up to it and to understand it so we can bring it here into the third dimension and teach it. So we already created it. So it's an interesting concept that way. But anyway, go ahead. We interrupt.
No, no, that's fine. Interrupt all you want. Totally. I'm not going to say no to Josef. Okay. So
I don't.
Yeah, it is I love the way you describe it. And because we know before we come here what our journey will be and what it is and what we have planned, our soul plan, that type of thing, what I remember. And so, yeah, we have lots and lots of help. Yeah. So if you don't mind sharing a little bit about how you got started on this journey. Oh, wait, we talked about that. Not started, but remembered.
I'm continuing, right? We're not starting, we're continuing because our spiritual journey is eternal. And we just pick up where we left off when we leave here, right? So for me, I was always interested in psychics and seers and mediums. Never really knew why. I was just always attracted to that energy, and channelers also. And Josef, when we got started, I was in advertising. I have a history of advertising in my real life, in my human life, and I sat down to write an article. There's a lot before this, a lot. It's a 25-year journey now at this point. But how we got started with them, I sat down to write a magazine article, and I was sitting there thinking about what headline I was going to use. And all of a sudden I just started typing. It was so subtle, and I was on my laptop. It just started going, and it started, Dear Cindy, and it was a 7 or 9 page letter that spoke about my history here. I don't remember most of it, although I have it saved, of course. I have thousands of conversations, right? But the only thing I do really remember is March of 2009. And they said at the end of every paragraph, they said, live it, live it, live it, live it. And I didn't know what that meant until recently. I
Mm.
mean, in this past year, it's, and all of a sudden it comes back, So that was my first contact. Didn't know who they were then. Just started talking. And of course, like everybody else, I kept saying, who are you? Who are you? And what do you want? I was fascinated, never scared. It always felt very loving, peaceful. I just wanted more. And every time I asked the question, who are you? The answer was, we are you. We're the same. We're the same. We're the same. We're the same. Of course, I didn't have any idea what that meant then. And and then started every day, I was writing with them, receiving. It was automatic writing. And I would just sit down and it would just come through. And a lot of questions, all that stuff throughout the years. In about 2000, I guess it was 14, maybe, they put Abraham in front of me. Every time I turned around, I was seeing either Esther's face or I was listening at work then. I was listening to Hay House Radio, all the shows, and they were on every day, and I never listened to them. All of a sudden, that's all I saw coming up on, this. So finally I said, I need to listen to this for some reason because I still didn't get it, the nudges. And in the first 5 minutes of the first one I listened to, I knew I was hooked, and there was something shifted inside me. So that took me on a journey with them. And then one time in 2016, as we were writing, they said, we are Abraham. And I started laughing. And because I knew at this point, of course, who Abraham was. And I, like, you got to be kidding me. This is, I'm being stumped here. This is crazy. And that started, and it felt really good. And it sounded like Abraham to me. They had made me aware of this message. A lot of things happened. I'll cut it down. Few days later, I'm with them again writing, and all of a sudden, and I'm on my laptop, it's right in front of me, and all of a sudden, Esther's face is right here in front of my face. I mean, I couldn't get away from it. And I said, and I'm typing like this, why is Esther right in front of me? I couldn't see my screen anymore. And they said, you are seeing the lovely Esther because we don't have a face yet. And
Mm.
that's when I knew something was different. I had a session with Paul Seelig. I was lucky enough to sit with him for half an hour on Zoom.
Mhm.
And I asked about this, and I said, I'm channeling Abraham. And he said, no. And I was so confident. I mean, I felt when he said no, it was like I was stabbed, And I said, what do you mean no? And I'm feeling their energy inside me the whole time that he's saying that. And so he said, let me see what the guides say. And he went to the guides, and the guides said, there is a group who is trying to teach through her. They will give her their name at the right time. And so I felt a little bit better, but still very confused. So I go home, get on my laptop, and I said, all right, you guys, what gives? What is this? And they said, we are an extension, and we will reveal who we are at the perfect time. A few days later, sitting outside, peaceful, not a word. And all of a sudden, I see this vision come in front of me. And it was like a propeller plane you see at the beach, with the banners on the back. And it was so clear, bright blue sky, bright white plane. And I'm watching this thing. I'm going, holy crap, this is wild. And the banner on the back, the first one said Seth. The
Mm.
next banner said Abraham. And the third banner was blank. And as I'm watching the third banner go by, they said, that's us. And as time went on, then I knew what they meant. And as time went on, I was okay, I'll just wait for the right time. A few months later, they said, take a month off, go to the beach, write the book, write the first book, which I did. And I said, 30 days at the beach. Yeah, I'll take that. And they said, you don't have to. They said, we only need 2.5 weeks, but take the whole 30 days. You'll need it. It's a whole nother story. It was fantastic because to the day, it was amazing. So I did. And that was in late 2017 or early 18. I don't remember. And when we wrote the welcome letter to the first book, they signed it, "We Are Joseph." So
Wow,
that's the skinny on that.
that's amazing. I love that. You
Really
know,
cool.
every channel or collective that you mentioned there, Abraham, the guides, Paul Selig, and Joseph, uh, it's uh, it seems to me like they are from the same type realm,
Yes,
so to speak.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. The
Yeah.
same,
Because
yeah, Bashar, yes. The same realm of conscious, absolutely. Yeah.
right. And Ra, the law of one, has the
Yes,
same energy and same messaging as
yes.
well, that I find too. So I love that. These are, ooh, I've got goosebumps up and down.
Yeah, me too. I love it. Yeah, I feel it.
So would you say, and we talked a little just briefly about this in the beginning, that these collectives, these beings who we consider to be an entity, a collective, would you say that they are our higher parts of us,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
of the
yeah.
channel that we agreed?
Yes. The way Joseph explained it to me was there's seven of them. And of course, every soul, every aspect is unique.
Mm-hmm.
So there's seven of them, and we are, as the message, when Jane started or when Seth began teaching that we create our own reality, she started that whole thing, what, in the late 60s or something, right? And then
Right.
Abraham comes in the late 70s, 80s, whatever, and millions of people are flocking. So as the awareness of the human collective expands, the message must expand because we are always evolving. So we're picking up now Joseph represents the vibration of the new earth. So we are teaching the evolution of the human aspect and where we go next and how we
Mhm.
get there. So the way they described our relationship was that my non-physicalness is part of that collective, and I am the physical, just like you or anybody. Everybody has a collective. It's not only us.
Right.
But yeah, so you're channeling an aspect of yourself. That's why it feels so natural.
Right. And so
Yeah.
familiar, very
And so
familiar. Like
beautiful.
you already know them. No.
Yes, it's almost so natural that you don't believe it.
Right.
I said to them one time, it feels so natural. I was trying to be like other channels because I didn't understand why it was so easy. And they
Yeah.
kept saying, "Cindy, you don't need to do that." And I would like, but they're doing it that way. Let me try that. And it was horrible. And it was so uncomfortable. And they said, "We'll be here when you get back. Go do what you need to do. All you have to do is focus. All you have to do is focus." And I finally got that after. And they said, you have to be yourself
Yeah,
because we're all so unique. It comes through uniquely for everybody,
totally.
you
We
know?
just like Christ told me, because Christ is my
Yeah,
guidance, and that we just have to get out of our own way.
absolutely. Absolutely. You
Yeah,
know, we have to believe it first. We have to believe who we really are, you know?
I know that's the hard part, isn't it? To Because that's what I dealt with in the very beginning. Again, 25 years ago, like you mentioned, about 25 years ago when I started, or I remembered this journey, and with Christ's help, and other guys around me, definitely,
Yeah.
other beings around me. We have a team for sure, and
Yeah.
yeah, and so I didn't believe it. Who this very loving being that was working with me was who he said he was.
Yeah.
And then I realized
Yeah.
after him working with me for a little while that okay, that I am worthy, and we all are worthy of these beings working with us one on one.
Yeah. I mean, it's just another consciousness.
Right.
we call it Jesus because Jesus was initially for me too, and he's part of this group.
Right. Yeah.
He's all over the place. Um, and so he was one of the first that spoke to me. And I think that for me, I understood it because I was raised Catholic. So I didn't know anything about the Bible, only to fear God, and stay under the radar. So I didn't
Yeah.
get the wrath.
Same here.
So
Yeah.
excuse me.
Mhm.
So when he began with me too, it was the familiarity. It was the only way to get to me. He was the only one I knew, you know? He was the
Yeah.
only one I knew. So, but now I understand that it is a consciousness. Jesus was the human aspect of the God consciousness, just like we are. I mean, he said so many times, I'm doing this, you'll do more.
Right.
Follow me, do as I do,
Hmm.
see as I see. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I
Yeah.
love this. So, what are some of Joseph's messages for us? I know you've written a series of 4 books based on his messages, or I'll say him, but their messages, your messages, the
Yeah.
collective
The collective.
messages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you share some of that with us, please?
Well, we teach the evolution of the human aspect.
Yeah.
So when they started out in the books, they started out with the soul aspect and the ego aspect. The ego is such a huge teaching. I call it huge. They say it's part of our teaching.
Mhm.
It's such a big conglomerate here because this shift in consciousness that we're going through now is a shift from being dominantly creating our realities from the contrast of what we refer to as the third dimension, which is out of alignment. It's not bad, it's just out of alignment. Actually,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story. I'll say it that way, but that's a whole nother story. With the soul, it offers a different experience in order for the aspect to choose. That's our whole journey, is choosing. We have to choose our way out of the contrast. And we have been shifting our consciousness. Every time we come back here, we have shifted. There are unlimited timelines in every realm of consciousness. So the third dimension is made up of unlimited vibrational timelines. And we are in agreement with one of them at all times. And we're constantly shifting. But we are a physical aspect that has a physical vibration that keeps us tethered to the physical world, to the physicalness of the earth plane, this physical dimension. So we have that. That's what makes us this. And this is the body is a physical manifestation of that vibration. But who we really are is our soul, is the God consciousness. So we are always that vibration, that consciousness. So we jump in here. Okay. So one day the soul says, all the soul does is expand love, right? All its desire is, all its purpose is to expand through choosing an experience. So in order to do that, it creates new aspects in order for the aspect to choose, because when you choose love, your soul expands and the whole universe expands. We all expand on the soul level.
Mm-hmm.
So we've died. So the soul says, oh, let's go over there to that dimension over there, and let's create an aspect. So the soul creates us as this aspect to be in alignment with this realm of consciousness, which means we are physical. We have physical senses, our eyes, our smell, our touch, all this stuff to help us navigate through this dimension. So we dive in here, and it's like a brand new baby that has no history at all, if you can even imagine that, right? Has no history. We dive in and we begin creating because we are creators. Unbeknownst to us, we begin creating. But we are creating at that point in our journey from outside of ourselves, because we are creating by what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we touch, everything outside of us. So we begin creating our realities from the contrasting realm, which is the point. So look around. This is what we've created, right? For the human collective. So we create, so because the contrast is there, we choose it because that's all we've known up until this point. We leave, we come back, we leave, we come back. When we leave here, that physicalness of us, that physical vibration remains on that timeline in the third dimension where there is vibrational agreement for it. The only thing we take with us when we kick off is the love that we have experienced because it's the only thing that's in alignment with the soul. And that's how the soul expands. So we keep coming back and we're always shifting our consciousness, but we're always shifting to another contrasting timeline. This time, fast forward to now, after thousands of years and evolution of the human, look back, look at the Bible. I mean, it's evident, right? The evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are sitting on the precipice of the next dimension of experience, the fourth dimension, until we get to the new earth, which is in the fifth. So the fourth dimension we call the bridge, because the fourth, okay, so here's how it works. So we have this physical vibration of us that is dominant. If we were not dominantly creating from our physical vibration in alignment with the third dimension, we would not be here. The dominant vibration always rules. You can tell that by your own life, in your own personal life and what you're creating. So up until this point, we've been creating from the contrast. So that physical vibration of us has been the dominant physical creator. Now, here we are on the precipice of the fourth dimension. When we shift, when we start creating dominantly from our soul vibration, that's when the shift happens, because now we are naturally attracting and creating from our soul love instead of the contrast. And we move forward because we're not in alignment with the third dimension anymore, because we are dominant now in another dimension. We are in agreement with another dimension. So you could say, when we first got here, we're creating 99% of our reality from the contrast, the dominant vibration, 1% from the soul, because we're always that, but we're unaware of it. We kick off, we come back, we go through all these stages, all these lifetimes of experiences and choosings. And we go from 99-1 to 95-5, 90-10, 80-20, and we're shifting our consciousness subtly and slowly. So here we sit at 50-50. And now we're aware and we say, oh, we are creating. Well, how are we doing that? We're doing it vibrationally. And so when we understand our vibrational agreement and vibrational manifestations, or manifestations from a vibrational perspective, then we choose better. When Esther started, they were calling it deliberate creation. That's what they're talking about. Deliberately choosing a vibration that's going to give you your desire. If we are pissed off, if we're mad all the time and we think everybody's out to get us, or we're always mad, always we're lonely and sad and angry and all that stuff, you can tell what you're creating. That's what your life looks like. When you shift your perspective and start creating from your soul's perspective, then you create a different reality, a different experience. So every manifestation is an experience. So that's what we're teaching in a nutshell. And that this is a complete 180 in our perspective, our belief system, the collective and individual belief systems of the human, they're all out of alignment. And our beliefs are the foundation from which we create.
Perfect. And Christ always told me that we live in an upside down world because we believe that what's going on out here is the real world, which and this is a reflection of what we have going on within us. What we brought from what I understand you, of course, is what we brought with us, our memories, our filters, that kind of thing, our belief systems comes with us into this lifetime. And because
it's part of your physical vibration that you pick up.
Yes. Yeah. That that we come in here with, and I believe that's what the Catholics call being born in sin, is that we bring our stuff.
And that's so sad. It's so
It
sad.
is. It
It's
is. Yes, totally. And so, yeah, I love that. It, and if you could share a little bit about how we move from, okay, the first step, I guess, is victimhood, right? To put it in plain, simple terms, victimhood, where everyone, we get into something where we feel like a victim, something happens where we're, and
yeah.
then, and we don't, it's hard to take responsibility and maybe see that we agreed to these types of things on a soul level. And, but when okay,
The soul never agrees with anything that's out of alignment. We agree on a human level. The
okay,
soul, like the soul, when we are lonely, the soul doesn't recognize loneliness. There's no loneliness in alignment. That the soul just, that's the ego. When we're lonely, doesn't matter what the situation is. When we're lonely, angry, those negative emotions are loving signs from our ego. This is the new perspective of the ego that we teach. They are loving signs that you're out of alignment. You're out of alignment with your soul. If you are
gotcha.
feeling angry, you're out of alignment because there's no anger in alignment. When we start to shift our perspective, just recognizing and discerning and deciphering what we're focused on in every moment, that's a little overwhelming. But when you start to recognize the patterns, we used to say you have to choose your thoughts. Well, thoughts are a reflection of the vibration you're focused on. You're attracting, you are an attractor. You're the magnet,
Right.
you know? So when you're
Mhm.
focused on love, the soul is high-fiving, going, yes, more of that, more, more, more. And you expand your awareness, and then more opportunities that will manifest love, peace, joy are presented to you because now you're in alignment with them.
Okay,
So
okay,
it's
yes,
it's
I
yeah,
understand
so it's
that.
the human. People
I
put all this, the dark night of the soul. The soul is never in a dark night that's out of alignment. It's the human aspect. It's an
okay, I understand
aspect.
that.
Yeah,
Right, I understand
yeah.
that. Yeah, and I did have a very long dark night of the soul. What
You
which
had
I
a okay, let's change the perspective of that. Your soul wasn't dark, it was you.
It was
The
right.
human, you're
It was my
human.
memories. It was my memories that were coming that I had buried within
Your
my cell
physical,
memory
your
that
physical
weren't
vibration.
healed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that weren't healed, and so that's what kept my vibration, my frequency in a vibration of whatever
Yes.
it was, because I repressed my childhood trauma and other lifetime traumas, and that's what my guides in Christ helped me. I had to uncover that in order to heal because I was, not in a good space. So I agree that that's a human thing, definitely.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
part
of
of
course. Of
your
course.
human physicality, because every lifetime, Joseph said one day, they said, when they were talking about this, they said, this human, they were talking about me at the time, but it's the same for everybody. Um, this human is really the captain of the human aspect team, because all of those aspects, all of those experiences, the lifetimes that we've had, that's what a past life regression is. You're going, you're visiting another aspect on a different timeline,
Right,
that where your okay, so your physical vibration houses is made up of really every experience you have ever had, but
right,
it is vibrational. And the only thing you need to know is that it's out of alignment. We are not purveyors of, and we certainly don't judge anybody who does, but we don't think it's necessary to spend 25 years in therapy going back. Why did that happen? Your mother did this, your father did it.
oh, right,
Can certainly help. But from where we sit, the perspective is you're either in or out of alignment, you know that's the bottom line. So when you're feeling and it's a shift, it is something to really understand, because it took me a while, like 3 or 4 years, to really be able to shift this, because I was kicking and screaming the whole way, because it was difficult. It's difficult. And I said to Joseph one day, this is so hard. And they said, yes, from the human perspective, it is hard. From our perspective, it is a choice. There is no hard in alignment. It's a choice. We make choices in every moment, you know?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. It's a whole different perspective.
Yes. Because in the higher frequencies, we don't see the things that we experience here. We don't see, and Christ always told me there is no no in that.
Right. That's
In the
right.
higher realms. There's no no. There is no such thing as the
Right.
word no or that vibration. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
You choose
and
it and then you experience it. That's it.
right.
And
Yeah.
there's no judgment.
No, there's not. It just is. It is what it is. It's yeah, and they and so I lost my train of thought there. So okay. The question is, what does Joseph suggest for getting back into alignment?
Oh, geez. Well, everybody asks that. Well, you talk about alignment all the time, but you don't tell us how to do it. Well, um, when I first asked them that, because it is an unfolding when you're focused on alignment, because really at this stage, when we're getting ready to move into number 4 over here, at this stage, the only thing we can do is focus on our own alignment. That's the pathway to get us there, because there's no frame of reference for this human aspect in this next realm of consciousness. We have never done this before as this human. We've never led with our soul before. So we have to allow our soul to guide us, our guides, angels, whoever you're talking to, guides all over the place to help us move forward. So the only thing we have to do is get into alignment with that. And that's your soul's eternal path. In order to do that, you have to focus more on love than not. You have to focus on the belief that we just did a post about this. I'm trying to remember what it was. Instead of doubting, trusting. We spend a lot of time doubting, especially you and I, and every channel we're doubting. Didn't happen like that person, so it must not be real. Oh my God, poor people, because it happens to everybody. But so it's focusing on trusting and believing more than doubting, because doubting is out of alignment. It is the discernment, the recognition of what you're focused on. Are you out of alignment or in alignment? If your emotions are our first indications of our dominant vibration in any moment. They are either emotions given from the soul, which are in alignment: love, joy, peace, adventure, excitement, passion. All those things are all in alignment. Anything that will evoke those emotions. But when we're out of alignment, the ego steps up and says, this is what it feels like. It feels like anger, loneliness, doubt, confusion. That's the first indication of where you are or what you're in alignment with. It's either the contrast or the soul. So to get into alignment, we always say, choose something that, like I focus on my brother, actually. I focus on my brother, who is just this big ball of love. He would kill me if he heard me say that. But he just emits this vibration of love. And with everybody, he just walks. I mean, it's so that a new puppy, a baby. The first time I said this, a woman, I had a client who said, I don't know how to get into alignment. I said, do you have children? She said, yeah, I have 2 girls. And I said, okay, go back to the hospital when you had that first baby and they first handed it to you and you looked at that face. And I saw the shift in her. Some people tear up when I say that. Anything that can bring forth that loving emotion, you feel it in your body. I just got a rush of that vibration when I talk about. I don't even have kids, and I can feel it through their vibration. You want to feel that. You remember times when you were overjoyed. Just the joy, peace, any time of peace. I can envision myself on my balcony overlooking the ocean, and that puts me into alignment.
Nice. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So bring your thoughts into a space where you feel really good, where you feel love, basically. And
Yes.
the teachings of Ra, the Law of One, they 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 talk about, that collective talks about, when our thoughts are 51% or more on service to others type of energy, where we're not in the ego, where it's all about us type of thing, 51% or more in love, then we've shifted. We're shifting.
Yeah. No, we would
That makes sense. Yeah.
throw our ego perspective in there. It's not the ego that's doing that to you. It's the human. It's the human. The ego,
Well, yeah.
I mean, everybody calls it that, and the ego gets such a bad rap, so we call everybody out on it. But it's such a,
Well,
it's
I'm
a paradigm
paraphrasing,
teaching.
but yeah, it's
Yeah. But
I'm
the
just
51, okay, so yeah, the 51%. Now, when people talk about in service to others, we say that the best way to serve the universe, which includes every single aspect, not only human, but the trees, the animals, the insects. I mean, everything that has a soul and everything that's breathing has a soul,
mm-hmm,
is to focus on your own alignment. Because as Abraham has been teaching for 30 years, one in alignment is more powerful than a million who aren't. Because that alignment, if you're in alignment and you walk into a room where there's 30 people that are out of alignment, which is pretty common because everybody's out of alignment, we're out of alignment. You will be the attractive vibration. You will be the dominant vibration in that room, and they'll feel it. You can control the vibration. I do it all the time. Control the wind. You can control. I went to, the vibration is so important, especially the vibration of alignment with your soul.
yeah,
It's so powerful. I was at a restaurant with a friend of mine. I hadn't seen her in a while. She came in town. We went, it was a Friday night in Atlanta, happy hour. This is years ago. I don't do that anymore. I can't stand it anymore. But we're sitting in this booth. Place was packed, sports stuff going on, people cheering, drinking, laughing. I mean, it was a great time. If you're into that, we couldn't hear each other. Sitting in a booth, we couldn't hear each other talk. So I said, let's bring the volume down, and anybody can do this. You have to believe it
mm-hmm,
and have to be in control of your vibrations. Bring the volume down. She said, how do we do that? And I said, we're just going to focus on peace. Just sit there, focus. Within 30 seconds, the whole volume went down in the restaurant, and it stayed that way for about 2 minutes. And then we started laughing and it started coming back up again. So, I mean, you can play with vibration all day long. And that's how you learn how to get into alignment, is by doing it, just by doing it and believing it and trusting your soul.
right.
Yeah. Most important thing right now for this segment of our journey is alignment.
Yeah, and I was remembering during my, Christ called it my quickening. Of course, I use Dark Night of the Soul, but Dark Night of the Psyche might be a better term. Thank you.
Yeah.
My quickening. That's what he called it, my quickening. That when we are in alignment, or at least working on that, and feeling in that space of alignment, that radiates out without us even trying. It
Yes.
isn't anything we have to try to do as well. It
Right.
just radiates out automatically.
Yeah, because we're always emitting our dominant vibration. That's why we're in such a mess here, because we're so out of alignment. Well, they laugh when I say that, because you can't be, it's like being almost pregnant. You're either in or out. You can't be both. That's why some people say, "Oh, I'm in the fifth dimension." And we go, "No, you can't be. You can go there in your meditation. I've been to the New Earth many times. Many people have. And when you're channeling, you're in alignment, and you're not here. You're dominantly there, right? When you're channeling, you have to be dominant to be able to hear them. You know. So, I just lost my train of thought too,
It's a
but
frequency. It's not a place. It's a frequency.
It's a frequency, yes. And so you're always emitting something. You're always emitting your dominant vibration. You
Mhm.
know that you can walk into a room and feel the heaviness there. And I
Right.
do too. And you just turn around
Right.
and walk out. I don't even mess with it anymore. But so you can feel it. So that's the key, is to the first time I felt my alignment with Joseph, it was during a meditation, and it felt like a real dull electric force, like right underneath the top layer of my skin. It was the coolest thing. And I was laying and I just laid there, and I can feel it now actually. And I didn't want to move because I didn't want to disturb it, you know. But when you can feel it in your body, that's what we're going for, is to feel your own vibration. And your emotions are the first key to doing that, you know?
So let me ask you this. So as we're shifting into the when we reach the fifth dimension vibrationally,
Yeah.
how do you see that? I mean, when we okay, so this is how I understand it. It doesn't mean we're not going to have challenges and things like that, correct? That we will we will know what to do to get into alignment. When I say challenges, I mean where something might come up that we need to take care of that knocks us off alignment a little bit or something like that. Does that make
No,
any sense?
no, well, you can't be in the new earth vibration with a challenge.
Okay, so if we're in the new earth vibration, we're still on the earth plane or earth
No,
planet. I'm talking about the earth planet.
no.
Okay, so you're saying in the fifth dimension, it's all pure love, pure spirituality, pure.
It's a
Uh,
whole, yeah,
okay,
yeah. It's a whole different experience. You know, I think what you're asking is the experience of the fourth dimension,
I think
where
so.
we're
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
feeling that
because
as
we're
I'm
still
talking.
here.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
getting. Is the
yeah,
fourth dimension
yes,
is the like you said the bridge, and that's what I
yeah,
always felt too. Because
yeah,
got information because people talk about the third dimension, the fifth dimension, but they don't talk about the fourth
yeah.
dimension. And I'm like, well, and I always ask what the fourth dimension is where we work on our stuff,
Yes.
right?
Well, the fourth, yes. So what happens is, yeah, yes. It's like what, Esther uses the term, not in this context, but getting your sea legs. Okay. So so back to our evolution story. So here we are at 50-50. We're creating 50% from the contrast, 50% from the soul. So we're kind of like, I don't know if you see that painting back there of her. She's in the clouds and she's on a tightrope. I don't know if you can see
Okay.
her.
Yes.
Okay, so we're kind of balancing. People that are aware are balancing. We're kind of taking control and saying, wait a minute, I'm not choosing that anymore. I'm going to choose this. And then we move forward. So we're at 50-50. So then as soon as we step over the line, when we become consistently dominant, 51% creating from our soul, we are in the fourth dimension. And then it starts to turn upside down. Then we're going 51-49, 60-40, 70-30, because now we know what we're doing and we're understanding it more and more, and we're creating from love. When we get to 99% soul and 1% contrast, we step over the line. We're in the new earth. That's 100% soul. There's no contrast there. There's a different experience of choosing. It's a different perspective. We continually expand, and we expand through that too. Somebody said to me one time, a teacher that I knew a while ago, and she said, I was in the 27th dimension. I'm like, how can you even
What?
know that? I can't even fathom the fifth. I mean,
I
in the
know.
27th, I mean, there's, I don't know what that means, but
I've heard people say stuff like that too, and I'm like, what?
what? Yeah, I go, what? What are you talking about? I don't understand. But
How could
everybody
you bring
describes it
how
different.
could someone bring that memory back? First of all, how could that? I mean, that frequency is so high
You know,
and near
I don't,
source, the center of source. How could it? I don't understand how anyone could bring that. That seems like that would blow your circuits if it's
well,
a
I don't,
thing.
my understanding is it cannot happen, not as this aspect. Of course, we have unlimited aspects of us,
Right. Right.
so
I understand. Yeah.
somebody's doing it somewhere, but it's not us.
But it's not, we wouldn't be here if we were able to move our consciousness
That's right.
constantly from this space into the 27th dimension, if there even is a thing. But yeah, I've heard people talk like that too. And I was like,
It's kind of weird.
really?
Kind of weird.
Fifth dimension is about as high as I think
I can go.
these
Yeah.
bodies could go.
Yeah. But as we shift our vibration to be more dominant, like this is a big shift for us. I call it big. They laugh when I say that. But because it's a complete shift in our perspective. Totally. Nothing is the same. I mean, they said to me one time, Cindy, when we said everything, we weren't kidding. It's everything. So, and I pointed out to people, they get so mad at me because I'm constantly saying, that's out of alignment. You can't use, well, what do you mean? Well, think about it. It's easy once you decide. But as you shift, your physical body will change too. Your physical body changes. Mine has changed. My desire for food. I was a big cake freak. I love sweets. I'm a big sugar freak too. And
Yeah.
so, but that has changed too. So in the new, or as we get into the four, we will shift. We will change. In the fifth dimension, when you hear the NDEs and they all say the same thing. I was having this conversation, but there were no words. This is vibrational communication. That's all channeling is vibrational communication.
Right.
And this is how you communicate. It's how I communicate. They changed my category of channeling to a blended conscious channel because that's what we're doing. We are shifting our dominant vibration to be that of our soul. And when you do that, people don't realize what that means and what a holy cow. I mean, when you start creating from your soul, all these doors open,
Yeah.
all the opportunities that are in alignment with your soul's eternal journey are in alignment. You can't see them when you're out of alignment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Because we're looking at the outside world.
exactly. And
We're looking at two
and
different.
that's, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest part of the shift. We're going from physical to vibrational, physical
Okay.
understanding to vibrational. And when you the vibrational aspect is really when we are creating our realities from outside of us, which we all do, which we're doing, right? It's based on usually what other people think. Do it this way, do it my way, believe what I believe. We're raised that way, believe this, we're raised and we live, whatever. And as we come up through that, we're creating again from outside of ourselves, like we always have. And we have then created an out of alignment version of ourselves. When we turn inside, go in and start paying attention to our vibration and understanding vibration and how our role in the vibratory universe, everything changes. Our creative power changes. We are so powerful. I mean, you can look at everybody who's listening to this, and you, I'm sure, do this anyway, but we look at our own lives and we can see what we've created. Well, how did you do that? It's all vibrational first, every manifestation, non-physical first. And then through our focus, we bring it into our physical reality. That's how we create our reality, which is experience after experience, vibration.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the fifth dimension, as we move into the new earth, because the earth is already there. It's there.
Yeah. Somewhere. I don't know.
We are already there in the
Yes.
fifth dimension. There's an aspect or a part of us,
Your soul.
frequency,
Yes.
right? It's already in all dimensions. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so we've just dropped down in frequency into this aspect of ourselves. So in the fifth dimension, has Joseph, I'll ask Joseph, I'll ask you.
Always ask Joseph.
and I've heard this before, and I've felt it too, that in that dimension, we are able to uh, be in alignment with loved ones who have crossed over, people like that, or maybe guides, people who are in that frequency rather than having the veils. It's like the veil has dropped. Does that make sense? Am I making
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You are now in alignment. Well, when you're there, you're in alignment with everything else that's there, or everybody else that's there. And we want to touch on the veil too. You know, the veil has been a teaching, and it's an old paradigm teaching. It's a third dimensional teaching. The veil is our own fear.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not, some people say, oh, it's this veil, you can't see over it. Well, yeah, you can. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you have to shift your perspective because it's not really there. We have created it.
We created it. It's a
Everything.
hypnotic state, is what it is. It's a hypnotic trance that we've created for ourselves. Yeah,
It's fear. It's the belief in fear.
I
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah, totally. I like that. So, so if we have loved ones that say they haven't reincarnated into the third dimension or something like that, or some aspect of their soul, the spirit realm, what we call the spirit realm,
Yeah.
would exist, might exist in the fifth dimension.
Well,
Does
of
that
course it does. Yeah,
make
it does. It does. Yeah. Yeah. Because everybody, I mean, I've communicated with the dead people. I'm sure you have too at some point. Maybe not.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
my
know.
work. No, that's
Yeah.
my work.
Okay. Okay. So that's where I started. Didn't mean to, it kind of fell into it. But I came to understand too that, and I mean, we do it all the time. It's just,
Right.
it's a shift in your perspective about different levels of consciousness. I mean, that's how we connect with the dead people, is they're on a different level of consciousness. That's all it is. It's the same, it's vibrational language. That's all it is. And it's
Yeah.
connecting, it's being in alignment with where they are. Because
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Right. I want to hear Joseph say that because
yeah,
because I get that a lot with when I work with people and through my mediumship abilities, that their
yeah,
loved ones say, you know, we'll be together. We are here. We're here with you, and we are together, just in a
yeah.
different frequency. Because a lot of mediums, I guess, or people think that they go, that spirit, we, when we leave our physical body, go somewhere. We don't really go anywhere, because I'm an out of body traveler. So I'm able to access the higher planes already without this body.
Right.
Yeah. And so to me, that's the same as dying,
It's
because
dining.
dying,
Oh, dying.
what we call dying,
Oh, what we call dying.
moving into the higher frequencies, fifth dimension, whatever, or just the, you know, whatever, the higher astral planes kind of thing. And so that's how I see us shifting into being able to interact with our loved ones or people that we know.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can connect, anybody can connect to them anytime. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this stuff that we do, it looks like this. I don't want to downplay it at all, and that's certainly not my intention, but it looks like this big gift that only some people have, and it's not true at
No,
all.
no, it's not.
Everybody is connected
Everyone
to their
has the
source,
ability. Yes.
you know? And so, and that's what we're trying to, you know, so from a vibrational perspective, you know, we talk about vibration incessantly. And I said to them one time, are we ever going to talk about anything other than vibration? And they said no. I
No.
said, okay. All
Well,
right.
Tesla already told us that, didn't he? So when you think of the universe, think of frequency and vibration.
I said, okay,
That's
yeah,
all you
that's our
need.
job, you know, that's our job.
That's, yeah,
Um,
all we need.
yeah.
Yeah.
But those, you know, the people, I mean, it was such a joy for me to do that because they're in such love. And the
Mm-hmm.
people in front of me sitting there, I only did it for like friends and family and stuff like, not my family, but well, did for my mother once. That's true. Yeah. But yeah, for friends and their families and stuff, because it's such a healing modality. It's so beautiful. And I would just be laughing and joking with them. And you know, the energy is so powerfully love, you know, and they're sitting there crying, oh my God, because they can feel it too. They
You
can
feel
feel the energy in the room. It's so beautiful. I
it
wish
is.
more people believed it.
You know, That's, and we have to close here in a minute, but I thank you, Cindy. Yeah, I know it went by fast, didn't it?
It's so fast.
I do have a question for you about channeling. I'm glad you brought that in. Um, what are your thoughts on people learning to channel? I mean, we're channeling all the time, aren't we?
Yes.
It just
Yeah,
depends on what we're
absolutely.
channeling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, because I've heard some prominent people say it's dangerous to channel and things like that, and I'm like, what?
Old paradigm, old paradigm, old
Yeah,
paradigm.
yeah. And so what are you Joseph's thoughts on that?
Well, we know that every human aspect at some point will come into this knowing. It is the evolution of the human aspect. And of course, there's no timeline. Your time frame is eternity.
Mhm.
So every aspect is on its own unique soul's eternal pathway. Channeling is just translation of vibration. Everybody is channeling. When you look at something, you are translating a vibration so you can see it in the physical world. Same thing with touch or smell or taste. That's why you have physical senses. When you move beyond the third dimension, the sixth sense comes into play, which is your vibrational acuity, which is the basis for all your five physical senses. Is vibration is the core of everything. So everybody can, we will eventually change the name of channeling because it's gotten a bad rap in some cases,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, it's dangerous or whatever, it's ridiculous.
Mhm.
But again, and I understand why they say that, because, those who believe in the dark forces or the demons, you know, step away from that for a second. I have never had an encounter with a dark or a demon. I don't believe in them. I know they exist, but I go back to that you cannot experience a vibration you're not in alignment with. It's impossible because there must be vibrational agreement for there to be a manifestation of any kind at all. So,
Right.
channeling is a very unique, we don't do it like anybody else. We're trying to not trying, I am. I'm exampling a blended channel, which just looks like it's me talking all the time. But I am dominant in my soul right now. And Joseph is doing the talking and I'm hanging in there with him. We're a group effort at this point. And
Right.
that's where we're going into the fourth dimension. As you expand your awareness of who you really are, all of the abilities that are sitting in your in your soul's vibration, your soul consciousness, which is everything, become available to you. And you all of a sudden you just do it like I did. All this, I just sat down and started doing it. I didn't mean to do it, it was the right time, and that was the time for me. So anybody can channel, and anybody who tells somebody they cannot channel, move away quickly, because it's not, everybody is so unique. It's so unique. And I think everyone should focus on their alignment and desire for communication, and it will happen. It's got to happen, but you have to
Mhm.
believe it. And
So
experiencing it is the best way to believe it.
it is. It is. I totally agree. There's nothing like it.
Nothing
There's
like it.
nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I actually teach courses on automatic writing and channeling so that people can
Oh,
at least, it starts with soul writing, just
yes.
journaling, that type of thing, and then
Yes.
moving into, ooh, and I'm getting emotional just talking about it and how we
Yeah.
move into it. Then that's what Christ taught me. That's how I
Yeah.
learn, and
Yeah.
it can be a
I'm,
process.
I learned I had some great teachers along my path, and I learned from this guy. Oh, he was so amazing. He taught me, I didn't even know where I was heading. He came out with this stuff, so he was certainly on time. I thank him for showing up. But he taught me to stare in the mirror. And that was shocking what happened then. And Jesus came through, and they were trying to get me to see my aura. And I'm in there and I'm looking, and I see this white neon like outline around my head. So I go back, and this was one of the assignments from this guy. And I'm typing my experience, and I said, I don't know what I saw. All I saw was this white neon thing around my head. And Jesus popped in and said, yeah, that was me. And I said, oh, he said, yes, I'm standing behind you. So he taught me that. And he also got me writing too, automatic writing. When it happened in 2009, I had no idea that was the preparation, unaware at the time. So bravo for you. Thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, yes, of course. And thank you
Yeah.
for doing what you do. And thank you to Joseph and your huge collective there and everything. Do you mind sharing the services you offer and how people can get a hold of you? I mean, I'll have in the details your information.
Everything is, we try to make it easy. Everything is on our website, The Teachings of Joseph, and that's Josef. They corrected me pretty quickly when I put the regular spelling. But the books are on there and they will connect you to Amazon. Also, a big thing, they introduced the 7 steps to self-discovery and healing. It's like the evolved, it's kind of interesting. In the second book, they did that. It's the evolved version of the 12-step program. And they start out talking about it that way. It's interesting. Anyway, you can download those steps for free on you don't have to input anything. It'd just be a download on your system. And there's a page, there's a navigation thing that says 7 steps. And you can download that. It's interesting. They are the foundation for the new belief system for the new earth. So we start shifting.
Oh, wow. Okay. Perfect.
Sessions and stuff like that. Everything's on the website.
Okay. Great. Great. And your website is?
Teachingsofjoseph.com. Yeah.
Teachingsofjoseph, JOSEF.com. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Sharon. So nice to meet you. It was really fun. It's always fun, isn't it?
It is.
Talking about this stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah. And I feel like we're just reunited.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt the vibration the whole time we're talking.
I know. I've got goosebumps the whole time. I'm just getting stronger now. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you.
So and thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you again soon. I'm Sharon Kumara, and you have been listening to Awakened Soul Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. I invite you to embark on a transformative journey with us. Awakened Soul is a safe, sacred space for exploring the depths of our consciousness. Each episode, you will be inspired to shed the illusions that bind you, connect more deeply with your inner wisdom, and step into a liberating life of freedom, clarity, and purpose. To connect with me, visit kumaraacademy.com.